Hi everyone. So yes, guys, this was the Fallout show towards redemption. Let's talk about it. This was July 29th episode of Dynamite from past Wednesday. So let's talk about it, guys. So the show starts off with Excalibur and Tony Giovanni and Taz greet audience at home before Renee Paquette looks to catch up with Will Ospreay outside the Mason Temple Theater, and the Death Riders block Osprey's path, and John Moxley stares him down, and Daniel Garcia gets in Will Osprey's face, but Will Osprey clocks him as John Moxley holds him back, and John Moxley asks Will Osprey if he's sure he wants to do that, and Will Osprey says John Moxley didn't get to pull the trigger for him, and he hands him back his Death Rider patch, and he says he's out, but then runs into Hangman Adam Page. And Hangman Adam Page says he's been in Will Ospreay's shoes before, but Will Ospreay never let him feel bad when he did last year, and tells him that he's there if he needs anything. And Will Ospreay says trust Kenny, he doesn't trust Kenny Omega, which means he can't trust Hangman Adam Page. Then tells him he wants to go at it alone. And Hangman Adam Page stops Will Ospreay when he looks to leave and offer Will Ospreay some encouragement. Then tells him he's got challenge for the AEW World Championship at All in the bag. So yes, guys, he says he got it himself, and that's what happened there. Which I like that whole setting where they were at. That was a good feeling because I had a school that looked like that, which this was a theater. But yeah, like that that theater in Detroit, Michigan, pretty cool. I am telling you that the arena that they were in, I liked it. I like that. Not arena, I mean to say theater. Sorry, my apologies, but you know what I'm saying, guys. That theater is pretty good. That I'm not kidding. That's a beautiful theater, in my opinion. But Detroit is not a good environment, but they got some good fans there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the people from Michigan and stuff. So yeah, let's carry on, guys. So then we had the three-way with Andrade Idolo and Nick Wayne and Jack Perry to start the show. This was a great match for the AEW National Championship. Oh man, this was amazing. I'm telling you. Let's talk about it, guys. The bell rings and Jack Perry super kicks Andrade and he fires off chomps on Nick Wayne, but Nick Wayne takes down Jack Perry with an open palm strike, and Andrade responds with the three amigos to Nick Wayne, but Jack Perry stops him after the first suplex, and Wayne and Perry then look to land a also again a double suplex on Andrade, but Andrade reverses it into a double suplex of his own on both man and Perry sends Wayne crashing into the floor onto the outside, but Andrade takes flight to level Perry, and he spots a female fan in the crowd and takes a shortlist picture with her. Okay, we're back, guys. I got a call. Sorry, I don't even probably never, but we're back. He spots a female fan in the crowd and takes a shirtless picture with her, but Wayne delivers a slid break to him off one of the barricades, and Perry dumps Wayne back in the ring and pins him, but Nick Wayne kicks out, and Andrade then lands the Three Amigos on Perry, but Wayne catches him with a Spanish fly. Back for the break, Andrade pulls Wayne off the ropes to powerbomb, and he fires off a chomp on Perry as Perry sits on the top rope, but Perry delivers a hurricanrana off the ropes to set Andrade crashing out of the ring and onto the floor, and he dumps Andrade back inside the ring and delivers a frog splash off the ropes to Andrade and spines. I was thinking to Andrade's spine, then lands a suplex on him and goes for a pin, and Perry breaks the fall, and Andrade fires off chomps on Perry and Wayne, then levels them both with a double clothesline and delivers the bullhorns to Perry and goes for a pin, but Perry kicks out and Andrade sits him on the top rope, and then Jack Perry flies out of the ring through the bottom rope and again over the top rope to take out Andrade and Wayne onto the outside, and he delivers a moonsault and then levels both men and dumps Wayne back inside the ring, then delivers a powerbomb to him and goes for a pin, and Wayne kicks out, but Andrade clotheslines Jack Perry out of the ring and looks to fly off the top rope, and Wayne gets his knees up and connects with a Phoenix splash on Andrade, then goes for a pin, but Jack Perry breaks the fall, and Nick Wayne rolls up, and Andrade with his feet on the ropes, but Andrade kicks out and delivers the DM for the win, and 1-2-3, and retains the AEW national title and pins Nick Wayne for the win. And that's what happened there. Then after the match, Tony Giovanni joins Andrade in the ring and asks him how he's feeling, and Andrade says he is feeling Trentito because he screwed MJF by taking his diamond ring, the diamond ring, and he says he can fight anyone and will be the best national champion ever. And Tony Giovanni then asked him about the match next week in Mexico to select the first entrant in the Casino Gauntlet match at All In, and asked him if he would consider it. And Andrade responds by asking Tony Giovanni, how do you know? Love the gimmick, What do you guys think about Andrade? Love the dude. I'm happy that he's getting used. So, and being the national champion. So, you guys feel free to ask questions. Then we had the Don Callis family with Don Callis and Kevin Knight, Francis Brody King, and Bandito and Speedball Mike Bailey, which this was good as well, guys. Love this match. Let's talk about it. So Kyle Fletcher and Brody King begin the action, and the bell rings and the two lock up, and Brody King levels Kyle Fletcher with a shoulder tackle, but Kyle Fletcher rocks Brody King with a forearm strike, and Brian Cage tags in and fires off strikes on Brody King in the corner, but Jake Dolly tags in and delivers a double suplex to Brody King with Brian Cage, and Kyle Fletcher tags back in and charges at Brody King, but Brody King interrupts him with a boot, and Mike Bailey tags in and ascends to the top rope, then lands an elbow drop on Kyle Fletcher's arm as Brody King holds him in place, and Bandito tags in and delivers a double stomp to Kyle Fletcher's arm off the top rope as Mike Bailey holds it in place for him, and Brody King and Bandito and Mike Bailey triple team on Kyle Fletcher in the corner, and Brody King delivers a clothesline to Kyle Fletcher, and Bandito, who has tagged in and looks to fly off the top rope, but Kyle Fletcher sees him coming, and Bandito then delivers a crucible suplex to Kyle Fletcher and rains down right hands on him in the corner before he lands an Enzanari on him from the apron. I'll say again, from the ring apron, and Brian Cage scoops up Bandito and powerbombs him into the ring post. And then back from the break, Brody King delivers a double cannonball to Brian Cage and Jake Dolly into the corner as the two men are stacked on top of one another, and he levels Brian Cage with a lariat and takes out to Mike Bailey, but Fletcher tags in and delivers a knee strike to Bailey and goes for a pin, but King and Bandito both break the fall, and Cage and Dolly quickly take out King and Bandito, and Bailey delivers a kick to Fletcher and follows it up with his sinister flipping double knee, then delivers a roundhouse kick to Fletcher, then levels him when Fletcher charges at him, and Bandito and Dolly tag in, and Bandito delivers a gorilla press to Jake Dolly, and he ascends to the top rope and lands a frog splash on Jake Dolly, but Jake Dolly rolls through and delivers a belly slam to Bandito. Then he runs over him with a splash as everyone begins to take out one another out. I'll say it again, guys. He runs over him with a splash as everyone begins taking one other out. And Bailey delivers a springboard moonsault to Fletcher off the ropes, but Jake Dolly levels Bandito with a right hand when Bandito charges at him, and Mike Bailey tags in and delivers his sinister flipping knee off the top rope to Jake Dolly's spine. He then rolls up Jake Dolly for the win, and that's how Brody King and Bandito and Mike Bailey won and defeated the Don Callis family. That match was really good, guys. I love Bandito. I'm telling you, Bandito, how he does those flying maneuvers, really good, man. I'm telling you, just like Commander. Oh man, Inchasiro too. I love Inchasiro too, man. Oh man, I'm telling you. But let's carry on, guys. We then head over to a video of Renee Paquette sitting down with Adam Copeland and Christian Cage and the Young Bucks, and Nick Jackson reveals that his family and Mac Jackson's family will be traveling to London for All In, and then voice the respect that the Young Bucks have for Copeland and Cage, and Copeland returns this since before Matt says himself, and Nick spends 2 years trying to get the AEW World Tag Team Championships back, and he says the AEW World Championships are the legacy of the Young Bucks, but Cage says he's not playing anything that the Young Bucks have done in their career, as he expresses his confidence in himself, and Adam Copeland begins able to retain at All In, which I thought it was good. My friends thought it was garbage and stuff, but I liked it though. I liked it, guys, and I can't wait for the match at All In between the Bucks and Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. Copeland Cage fences the Bucks. So yeah. Then, oh my goodness, this was a great match. I'm telling you, between these two women, Pierce Stephanie and Maya World. Oh my goodness, for the TBS title, almost the TNT, guys. But yeah, for the TBS championship, let's talk about it. I thought this was a good match. I loved it, guys. Let's talk about it. The bell rings and the two lock up, and World levels Pierce Stephanie with a spinning heel kick, but Pierce Stephanie stomps on World's neck onto the outside of the ring. Then back from the break, Pierce Stephanie delivers a fly through the bottom rope to take out World onto the outside, and Pierce Stephanie charges at World, but World levels her with a kick and lands a moonsault off the ropes, and Sheeta slides her sinister candlestick in the ring, and Pierce Stephanie takes hold of it, and Sheeta distracts the ref and World, but Chris Statlander appears to grab the candlestick from Pierce Stephanie, and this opens the door for Maya World to land a fall away slam on Pierce Stephanie and bridges up into a pinfall for the win, and that's how Maya World defeated Pierce Stephanie. Appreciate you coming in today again. I appreciate you coming in, Hitman. I appreciate you, man. Hitman D. Appreciate you coming in and stopping by. And I loved your video talking about Monday Night Raw. I was happy that Monday Night Raw was finally a good show. You know, mostly, you know, that show. Ugh. But if they can do that every week, I would be happy if they could do that every week. But that's just me, you know. But let's carry on, guys, about Dynamite. So after the match, Chris Statlander raises Maya World's hand in the center of the ring, and that's what happened right there. So yeah, Chris Statlander raised Maya World's hand in center of the ring, and that's what happened right there. Then we had Willow Nightingale celebration with the AEW World Championship, guys. So yeah, let's talk about the AEW Women's World Championship. Let's talk about this, guys. So yes, this was really good with Mercedes Moné coming in and stuff. Let's talk about it though. Renee Paquette introduces Willow Nightingale and she makes her way to the ring, and fans tell Willow Nightingale that she deserves it as Renee Paquette asks what's winning the AEW Women's World Championship and becoming the first Women's Grand Slam champion in AEW means to her. And Willow says it is exactly the kind of thing people dream about. And she says she's living out her dream, then says there's been doubters along the way, and says not everyone has gotten her just by looking at her. And then Willow Nightingale says she made the fans very happy this past year, and says she became the half of in the the half of the first ever AEW Women's World Tag Team Champions, beating Mercedes Moné for the TBS Championship, then got injured, and she says her injury took her to a dark place, but her mom pulled her out of that and recalled her mom and telling her mom, you know, telling her mom and telling her she had two options, and her mom told her that stay down or fight, and she said she did what her mom would do and fought to get into the Casino Gauntlet match to earn her AW Women's World Championship match at Redemption. And Willow tells the live crowd and fans at home that not to give up if life is keep kicking you down, and stuff like that. I'll repeat it again, guys. So she tells the live crowd and fans at home not to give up if life is keeping you down. Then tells them to keep fighting and pushing through because sometimes the comeback is even better than the dream, which I like that line. That was pretty good for a babyface. Love the whole celebration, in my opinion, right there. Then Mercedes Moné comes in and she makes her way out with a contract in hand, and she says she didn't come to the ring to ruin Willow celebration, but for business, and tells her to sign the contract for their AEW Women's World Championship match at All In. And Willow Nightingale uses Mercedes Moné's chest to do so, but Mercedes Moné clocks Willow Nightingale, and Renee Paquette announces that the All In match is official, with Mercedes Moné having persistently citing it earlier. And Willow asks Mercedes what her problem is, then pounds is if it Okay, I'm back, guys. Let's repeat where I was at again. So Willow Nightingale asks Mercedes Monet what her problem is, then powders if it that she's not getting attention or the fact that she lost her TBS championship to her. She asked also again she said it could also be that she has the one title Mercedes Monet can't get, but Mercedes Monet says the thing she hates the most about Willow isn't her smile or the aberration from the fans, but the fact that Willow's name is written all over her story. And she says when she got hurt, the fans celebrated Willow Nightingale and said she had to go through Willow Nightingale when she got to AEW. And she said she will finally end Willow Nightingale's fairy tale at All In and says Willow Nightingale would be nothing without her. Then says Willow Nightingale is cheered by the fans for standing across the ring from her and demands that Willow Nightingale admits she made her, and she says she wouldn't just take the AEW Women's World Championship from Willow Nightingale at All In, but her smile too. Then Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Monet continue arguing as Megan Bain and Lena Cross appear, and Willow Nightingale clocks Mercedes Monet and Megan Bain and Lena Cross, but Mercedes Monet lands a chop block on Willow Nightingale, and the Divine Dominions deliver a double chokeslam to Willow Nightingale, and Jimmy Hayter and Alex Winters run out to the ring and force Mercedes and the Divine Dominions to slide out of the ring. Then, then we had this match. Commander versus John Moxley for the Continental Championship. This was good. Commander did good in this match, even though he lost. This was a good match. This was a good match with Moxley and Commander, man. Let's talk about it. Oh, man, I'm telling you guys. Man, I love AEW. Then the bell rings and Commander rolls up John Moxley, and John Moxley kicks out, but Commander flies through the bottom rope to level him onto the outside. Back from the break, and John Moxley rolls up Commander, and Commander kicks out and delivers a drop kick to John Moxley's off the top rope, but John Moxley rains down right hands on Commander into the corner and bites his head, and Commander responds with a leg drop to the back of John Moxley's neck as John Moxley is strapped across the top rope, then walks across the top rope to fly and takes out Moxley onto the outside, and Commander delivers a moonsault to Moxley off the top rope, but Moxley responds with the Death Riders to Commander and slinks into the Bulldog choke on him, and Commander tapped out, and that's how John Moxley retained his Continental title by submission. Then we had the main event. Oh, man. Even though I can't stand Ricochet, I'm happy for him, and I'm happy for his team with Bishop Khan and Ty Laya. Give it up to Ricochet. Even though I'm not a huge fan of Ricochet, give it up to him even though. Let's give it up. Let's give him some respect. So, yeah, guys, that's just my opinion. I know Prince Idol would crap all over it, but that's just his opinion. But me, personally, I give the credit to Ricochet and his team. So let's talk about it, guys. Ty Laya takes out Orange Cassidy, and Bishop Khan levels Roderick Strong with a drop kick, but Kyle O'Reilly flies out of the ring apron to take him out, and Strong straps Khan across his knee for Cassidy to deliver an elbow drop to him off the ring apron, but Ricochet flies off the entrance ramp to take out Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly having been taken out earlier. Then Orange Cassidy and Ty Laya get in the ring, and the bells sound, and Ty Laya mocks Orange Cassidy by putting his own hands into OC's pockets and getting him up, but OC catches him with a shotgun drop kick back from the break, and Ricochet rocks Kyle O'Reilly with a jumping knee, and Ty Laya catches Kyle O'Reilly with a headbutt, and Bishop Khan follows it up with a body slam before Ricochet delivers a running shooting star press on Kyle O'Reilly, and Orange Cassidy tags in and ascends up to the ropes, but Ricochet joins him on up them, and Ty Laya runs over Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly with a double clothesline, but Orange Cassidy looks to catch him with an orange punch, and Ty Laya no sell as OC grabs onto his hands, but OC managed to land a second orange punch on Ty Laya, and Strong follows it up with an angle slam, and Jay Legal and Lee Johnson run out to the ring and distract the Conjuration, allowing Blake Christian to sneak up on OC and hit him with one of the AEW World Trios Championship belts, and this opens the door for Ricochet to tag in and deliver the spear gun to Orange Cassidy and pins him for the win, and that's how the Man became the new AEW Trios champions. And then after the match, the Man and the Legal Twist and the Conjuration begin to brawl, and Brody King runs out to even the odds with Hangman Adam Page, and following with a chair whipped into bottom wire in hand, and Jay Legal grabs the chair from from Page. I'll say it again, from Page, Hangman Adam Page. I'll repeat it again, guys, from Hangman Adam Page, and then Hangman Adam Page does a block shot lariat, and that's what happened right there, guys, with the block shot lariat. Sorry about that. My mom said my name, so anyways, guys, that was sorry about that, but things happen always. So let's carry on and talk about what I was saying. So yeah, Hangman Adam Page follows with a chair and whips into a barbed wire in hand, and Jay Legal grabs the chair from Hangman Adam Page, but Hangman Adam Page levels him with a block shot lariat, like I said. Then we head over to a video from Death Riders where Daniel Garcia calls out Will Ospreay and Jon Moxley addressing the mystery Continental Cup. Can't wait for that, guys. We'll talk about that here in a bit, and then I'll wrap that up after we talk about this Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega stuff, which was great to close the show. Which they were, well, Will Ospreay said, "I thought you were my friend," and all of that stuff, which which was good and all of this. Let's talk about it. We hear from Kenny Omega, and Tony Giovanni introduces Omega. Then he makes his way out, and the two men shake hands. But before Omega can talk, Will Ospreay's music hits, and he makes his way out. Then Omega calls for Ospreay's music to be cut off and says it's great Ospreay's in the ring because what he's about to say only needs to be heard by Will Ospreay, and he says he used to do something called show and tell in kindergarten. Then says Ospreay showed him how he felt at Redemption by giving him a one-winged angel, and he says he thought Will Ospreay would get it, but he sees an angry Will Ospreay in front of him and asks if it's time for the tell part. And Omega says he cares about Will Ospreay and he means the world to him, and asks Will Ospreay if he remembers making a promise to him to try their best and become champions. And he says 100% of the time he always puts his friendship with Will Ospreay ahead of a championship. And he says that the reason why he let Will Ospreay into the 2026 Man's Owen Hart Foundation Cup tournament out of kindness and wanting the best for him. But then Will Ospreay told Kenny Omega that it really sucked. He gave up on himself, and he says those words cut deep for him, and asked Will Ospreay if it looks like he's given up. Then says Will Ospreay will never be one to talk down to him, and says even though he gave Will Ospreay plenty of warnings about the Death Riders and Jon Moxley, but Ospreay pretended to know better and asked him what his issue is now that it's blown up in front of his face. And then Ospreay says he came back from knee surgery early because all he thought about was revenge. And he said his revenge slipped through his fingers, and says all his confidence slipped through his fingers. Then says he felt like he shortchanged the fans for his body following him, and he says he had no one to turn him but Omega, since he was always there for Will Ospreay. And Will Ospreay continues on to say that the guy he hates in Moxley gives him a new life, and admits that he likes being a Death Rider, and says he likes the considerably and the training, and he says it reminds him of his days in Japan, and says the more he got to know the Death Riders, the more he understood why they protect AEW, and he says that where they're clumps percent, I can't pronounce it, guys. They're similar. Phil Smithy and says when he saw Omega's face down in the ring with a chair around his neck at Redemption, he couldn't see anyone he loved go through what he did. And Omega says he got beaten up in the ring at Redemption, and minutes felt like hours, and says he felt the chair slip down his neck and didn't have the energy to fight after a match after Kevin Knight. And so all he could do was accept his fate. And he says he then heard the cheers of the fans and knew it was Ospreay coming to save him, and persistently passed. And he says he took the chair off his neck, stood up, and turned around and see what has happened in order to understand more about Ospreay than ever before. And he says he knew why it took so long about Ospreay, and says, though, after choking him with the plastic bag himself, I'll say it again, guys. He knew why it took so long about Will Ospreay, and says he thought about choking him with the plastic bag himself, then slapped Will Ospreay and asked Will Ospreay if all their friendship was getting the AEW World Championship from Omega. And Omega slaps Will Ospreay two more times, and says Will Ospreay will always be a step behind him, and he said he'll always be better than Ospreay. But an angry Will Ospreay shoves Kenny Omega and threatens to deliver a hidden blade to him. And Will Ospreay says no matter how much Kenny Omega respects him, he will take him out if he puts his hands on him. Then Will Ospreay says he felt Omega's absence when he came to AEW, and he says winners want the ball, and he wants the ball. Then says when 90 minutes are done in soccer, it's all over, and says it's his turn to kick the ball. Then says his entire country depends on him to bring it home, and says England is asking if he can pull the trigger. Then convincingly says he can, and he says he wouldn't do it like Omega from behind, or nearly kill him like nearly kill him like John Moxley would. Then says when he pulled the trigger, Omega will see it coming. And that's what closed the show, guys. And I gave this show a 10 out of 10. It was an excellent show. I'm telling you, top notch. It was so good. I loved it all, man. It was an amazing Fallout. I'm telling you, amazing Fallout show from AEW's Dynamite. So yeah, guys, I gave this show a 10 out of 10. So yes, guys, we'll be here for a couple more minutes. I'm going to talk down about the Continental Cup. Oh man, I can't wait for this. You got John Moxley in there. You got Shibata in there. You got Matt Sandel. You got Orange Cassidy in there, and so much more, guys. Let's talk about it. Man, I'm telling you guys, it's so good, this Continental Cup. I know a lot of people are not looking forward to it because we got the C2 at World's End. You know, World's End, we always have that around that time of December. I don't mind this. A lot of people don't, a lot of people, care about it, and they think that this is a bad idea. But in my opinion, I think it's cool. But I understand somewhat because we got the C2 always towards, All In, or not All In, World's End, I'm sorry. World's End. So yeah, like we always have that during December and November, towards the end of November. We always do, AEW always does that. towards like the end of November, like Thanksgiving, around that time they start doing the bracket for the Continental thing for the Continental title and stuff. So yeah, guys, put your thoughts in. But my personal opinion, I don't mind about this Continental Cup. If they want to, they can cut off that C2 if they want to, and just have this every year. So yeah, it's confusing a little bit, but in my opinion, they could do both. But if they want to cut one, I would say just keep this and cut the C2 if you want to. You know what I'm saying? So I know some people don't like this cup, but I do. So that's my opinion. So yeah, you got John Moxley as the champion. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how this goes with John Moxley and his title. You got Kyle O'Reilly, you got Roderick Strong, you got Orange Cassidy, you got Nigel McGuinness, you got Shibata, David Finlay, Ace Austin, Jay White, Matt Sandell, like I said again, Jack Perry, Jake something, Jake Dolly. You got Brian Cage in here, and Inchaciro, and Claudio Castagnoli, and Eddie Kingston. Which, my opinion, guys, if this all sits sitting down and all this, in my opinion, I think they're going to go with Kyle O'Reilly and John Moxley, but I can be wrong. Or they could do Inchaciro and John Moxley. That would be amazing. Imagine Inchaciro against John Moxley. But yeah, my main opinion, I think they're going to go with Kyle O'Reilly and John Moxley and have another match like the fourth time or something like that. But we'll see what happens though. But yeah, guys, we'll see how that goes and stuff, how this tournament goes. So yeah, I wouldn't mind if they do Roderick Strong fits John Moxley. Imagine Roderick Strong fits John Moxley in the finals. Um, we never know. Time will tell. You know what I'm saying? Time will tell. So yeah, guys, I'll show you right here because I can do that. So hold on, I think I can do that. I'll show you right here. So here's the bracket, guys, right here. So yeah, that's the bracket. So if you've seen that, that's the bracket, guys. And so yeah, guys, I can't wait for that whole tournament. It's going to be great. We got matches this Saturday for it. I can't wait, man. And tomorrow we got Grand Slam Mexico. It's going to be freaking great, man. I can't wait for the freaking show. We got Pierre Stephanie fences Chris Statlander. We got we got so much on the show tomorrow for Grand Slam Mexico. Then you got Mark Davis fences Will Osprey in a Mexico street fight. Just good stuff, man. Good stuff. So yes, guys, that's all I have to say. So don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit those notification bells as always, guys. And this is CJD 2006. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit those notification bells as always, guys. And peace out and take care and much love. Peace out and take care and much love.